Evelyn Thompson sighed, the weight of her own mistakes pressing down on her. She knew deep down she was the reason her son, Michael, was so spoiled. Looking back, Evelyn regretted ignoring her husband, Daniel's, warnings. Ev, you can't just keep giving him whatever he wants. Sure, he's just a little kid now, crazy about new toys and trucks. But what about when Michael grows up? How will you handle his ever-growing demands? You gotta teach him some discipline, learn to say no. He's already 5 and doesn't see us as any kind of authority. It's high time you put your foot down before it's too late. Now, the weight of her guilt was crushing. Daniel had been right. Michael had grown accustomed to having his mom solve all his problems. Even as an adult, he still came to her constantly for help. Whether it was money for car repairs, childcare for his own daughter, or help around the house while his wife was on bed rest, expecting their second child, Evelyn was exhausted by her son's constant dependence. She knew it was time to change things, to break free from the burden of her son's endless reliance on her. During their first major clash, Daniel was out of town on a construction job. He'd taken the hard, physical labor because it paid well, perfect for saving for their retirement. He never complained about the strain, even though he was nearing retirement age. Evelyn knew this job was their chance for financial security later, and she supported his decision. On a Friday, Michael called. After the usual pleasantries, he launched into his reason for calling. "Mom, I need your help." Evelyn braced herself, anticipating another request for money. What is it now? She thought. What's wrong? She managed to ask. Mom, you know Veronica's in the hospital with some kind of pregnancy complication, Michael explained. I'm drowning here, taking care of Sophie. The house is a disaster, and the dishes are piled high. Could I drop Sophie off for the night? I'll clean up, do some laundry, and at least Sophie can have a decent meal. We've been relying on takeout since Veronica went in. Evelyn threw her hands up in exasperation. Michael, are you serious? Feeding that horrible takeout food to a little girl? Why didn't you call me sooner? I would have taken Sophie in a heartbeat. What kind of father are you? You're a grown man. Veronica called me 2 days ago and mentioned Sophie had a nanny. Don't you work? Can't the nanny take care of feeding her? She does, Mom, Michael replied, but only with the food I provide. You see, nannies charge extra to cook these days, and that adds up fast. So, I've been ordering takeout for dinner to make sure Sophie has something to eat during the day. Get Sophie over here right now. I want you here in 15 minutes. I'll let Veronica know when she gets out of the hospital. Apparently, I can't trust you to handle things. Sophie arrived, and Michael took the brunt of his mother's scolding. Michael, how could you let her get so dirty? Look at this filthy outfit. Michael, I'm speechless. I don't see the problem, Michael shot back. I'm at work all day, making a living. When am I supposed to take care of the baby? So what if her clothes are dirty? Veronica will handle it when she gets home. It's not a man's job. You're a father first and foremost now, Evelyn countered. Your wife and daughter are in the hospital, and you can't spare half an hour to do some laundry. Your dad was right. You definitely could have used a stricter upbringing. It's ridiculous that you can't handle taking care of a child. Michael's temper spiked. If you're so good at everything, why don't you watch Sophie until Veronica gets out of the hospital? It's a win-win for me. I save money on a nanny and come home to peace and quiet. Just call if you need anything, and I'll bring it over. Evelyn couldn't sleep that night. It seemed Sophie's poor diet was causing stomach trouble all night long. By 3 a.m., at her wit's end, she called an ambulance. The paramedic offered some advice. Do you know when Sophie last had a bowel movement? Her stomach feels very tight. She's probably constipated, which explains the pain. Can you give her an enema? No, I can't do that, Evelyn replied. Then have someone pick up this medication from the list. It comes in a kid-friendly syrup. Give her 1 dose according to the instructions. After the paramedic left, Evelyn immediately called her son. Michael was not happy about the late-night request. "Mom, can't this wait until morning? It's the middle of the night, and I'm trying to sleep. It's a 15-minute drive to the 24-hour pharmacy. I'll get it in the morning on my way to work. Just text me the list." Evelyn fumed. "Are you serious? You want Sophie to suffer for another 4 or 5 hours? Get up right now. Be here with that medicine in 20 minutes. If you even think about delaying, I won't be responsible for myself." Michael showed up at his mother's house only half an hour later. Exhausted from waiting, Evelyn confronted him. "Why did it take so long? I told you to hurry. The baby is in pain." "I came as fast as I could," Michael snapped. "I needed coffee to wake up. You wouldn't want me driving drowsy, would you? That's dangerous for everyone." "Listen, Michael, are you thinking straight? Your daughter is sick, and you're worried about coffee. Honestly, Mom, 15 minutes earlier or later wouldn't have made a difference. Here's the medicine, everything on the list. I gotta go, early work tomorrow. I'll call you later." Evelyn gave Sophie the medicine, and thankfully, the laxative worked after 15 minutes. The little girl calmed down and finally fell asleep. All night, the grandmother stayed awake beside her granddaughter, too worried to sleep herself. What if Sophie woke up in pain again? In the morning, Veronica called, and Evelyn decided not to burden her daughter-in-law with Michael's behavior. However, she did confide in Veronica about Sophie's constipation. Veronica shared some good news. She'd be coming home later that day. "Thank goodness," Evelyn sighed with relief. "Michael simply can't handle things without you. Maybe you should keep Sophie here today and tomorrow. Get some rest." Michael promised to clean the apartment yesterday. I hope he followed through. If you do clean, make sure he helps. Don't you dare tackle everything alone. Make sure he handles the tough stuff like mopping floors and taking out the trash. Evelyn enjoyed 2 wonderful days with her granddaughter before Veronica's parents arrived to take her home. While Veronica was dressing Sophie in the bedroom, Michael pulled his mother into the kitchen for a serious talk. "Mom, I need to talk to you about something. Can you loan me $15,000? Well, not exactly a loan, more like an advance. I'll pay you back in a couple of months, I promise. It's urgent." "What kind of emergency?" Evelyn asked, her voice laced with concern. "Mom, please don't yell or laugh. The other day, I was browsing online and saw a website giving away iPhones. I figured, why not? I spun the wheel twice and won. I even filled out a form with the delivery address for the phone." "Michael, get to the point. Why do you need the money?" "Well, you see, to cover the delivery costs, the site required entering all my card details. I know it was stupid. I've heard about these scams before. But the thrill of winning clouded my judgment. Long story short, I entered the details, and they drained my account. Turns out the site was fake." Evelyn's stomach lurched. "How much did they take?" "A lot, Mom, almost 50,000. That was money I'd saved for my son, and now I can't even afford groceries. Please, Mom, don't tell Veronica anything. I don't want to stress her out." After a good talking to, Evelyn assured her son she'd call his father and arrange for the money transfer. However, Daniel, upon hearing his wife's plan, was furious. "Ev, how did we raise such a dope? We're both educated people, so where did we go wrong? If it were up to me, I wouldn't give him a dime. I only feel sorry for Veronica and Sophie. I won't send a cent to that idiot. Call Veronica, get her card number, and tell her I want to send the money directly to her and Sophie. Thankfully, our daughter-in-law has some sense. She'll use the money wisely. And tell Michael to expect an earful from me about neglecting his daughter." Just as things were calming down for Michael's family, a new crisis struck. Evelyn was rushed to the hospital with suspected appendicitis. After surgery to remove her appendix, She was discharged a week later. The doctor's orders were clear. Evelyn, your main job is to keep those stitches from splitting. A cup of tea is the heaviest thing you should lift. No housework, no bending over to clean floors, no straining at all. You need to rest and focus on healing. Michael picked his mother up from the hospital, and on the ride home, Evelyn lamented. Now what are we going to do? I can handle dishes and cooking, but cleaning, I'm stumped. You could mop the floors, I hate that chore. But how would you wring out the mop? That still involves bending over. Veronica, sitting in the passenger seat, reassured her mother-in-law. Evelyn, don't worry about that. I'll come over every few days and clean for you. Don't be silly, dear, Evelyn waved dismissively. I wouldn't dream of letting you do such heavy work. You focus on taking care of yourself and the baby. Michael can handle mopping the floors twice a week. Me? Why me? Veronica offered. She should do it. It's a woman's job, Michael protested. Don't argue, Evelyn replied firmly. I'll manage somehow, thank you. But son, you can help out. Evelyn hired a teenage neighbor, Marissa, to come twice a week and clean the house. As a thank you, she often gave Marissa trendy scarves or perfume bottles. Frugal like most seniors, Evelyn would keep any gift she didn't like and save it for someone else. After surgery, Evelyn only had 2 weeks of bed rest. One Friday evening, Michael called and asked her to babysit Sophie. Evelyn declined, citing her doctor's orders. Michael, you know the doctor said no lifting stitches and all. Sophie may be small, but she needs to be picked up a lot, and I just can't risk it. You'll have to stay home. You can visit another time. Veronica's saying the same thing, Michael grumbled. Rest? You've been lying in bed for 2 weeks doing nothing. Is it really that hard to watch a child? Unlike you, I deserve a break. I've been working. You ruined my plans. Michael, how dare you speak to your own mother like that? Evelyn snapped. That's it. Don't ask me for anything else. You won't get another dime from me. And don't even call your dad. He's on his way over to give you a piece of his mind. I forgot to mention that. Evelyn hung up. Later, Veronica called to apologize for her husband's behavior. Evelyn told her daughter-in-law that Michael needed a reality check. He's been out of line lately. Michael apologized repeatedly, but Evelyn wasn't ready to forgive. He needed to learn a lesson. It wasn't until 6 months later, when Veronica gave birth to a son, that things finally smoothed over between them. I hope you enjoyed this story. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more awesome stories in the future. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey, and we'll see you next video.